So I was getting ready to make the final update of my year-old PIAA windshield wipers and show how to change these, because you can actually buy just straight inserts for these things rather than the whole arms, which is kind of nice because they're a lot cheaper. So that's even better. And they've gotten about 11 months on them right now, and they still don't squeak. They don't really miss. But they take some time to get into the groove at the moment. When it's just misting and a little cruddy outside right now, they're just not quite what I want. So I've got the new inserts. I'm going to be putting those on. Going to do a full strip down of the windshield, clean it really good, hit it with some Rain-X. What I did notice is that the new ones did not come with Rain-X pads like the original ones with the full arms did. But one thing I noticed when I took it apart is this one here doesn't touch the windshield. And normally I worry about that because this one does, and it's still, you know, still spring loaded pretty hard. But what I've got is this arm is pretty darn loose internally. I'm not sure what's going on there. So what I need to do is pull this off. Then I can pull these screws. There's a little screw under there as well. Then I don't think I have to pull all of it because this does split in half here. You have some more covers and plugs along the bottom. There's a couple of clips here and here. And this is held in with some pop pins, Christmas trees, that you'll have to use a trim stick to get off. So once we get that off, then we can probably get this piece of the cowl cover out and see what's going on in there. If there's just something that's loose that I can tighten up, or if it's actually worn out and I may be going to dig in my parts truck to find a new piece for it. So we're going to set this up, and then we're going to start taking this apart. So there's 4 screws on top, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you use a trim stick, and then there's clips on the front. And a Christmas tree on the far end. And then it just comes out. Easy as that. Stupid mud daubers. God, look how long that's been there. Okay, well, here's what we have. Interesting, that's a Trico, which strikes me as non-stock. So this may have been replaced before I bought the truck. But gonna have to go get a mirror. I don't think there's any way to adjust this. It appears that that is just kind of worn out. So what I'm going to do now is pop the other arm off, take a look at it, and see what we've got. And then I'm going to go look at my parts truck and see if this piece may be in better shape, because this one here is starting to get kind of whooped. Well, I think I'm going to pull the whole thing out because I can, and it'll be easier to inspect once it's off. So this looks like a pretty standard plug, and it is. It's disconnected, and then it appears to be 1, 2, 3 8mm bolts. All right, so now that it's undone, we're going to see how to remove it. Plug is disconnected, 1 screw, 2 screw, 3 screws. Problem I'm having is the arm is underneath this part here, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have to index it or what. It is going to need to be indexed up, I believe. We'll plug that back in. Try that. I hope I don't take the hood off of this. It really seems like I might. I'm wondering if I disconnected these, if the hood would actually move high enough up to pull out through here. It might. Yep, that will work. But since I just broke the windshield washer squirter tube, it would behoove you to disconnect that as well. What in the world? Okay. Well, looks like at some point we sucked up a bag. Okay, we'll be back in a few. So we got that garbage out of the way, and it's basically good. But what we've got now is, this is the good side. Not really any play. And here we've got probably a 30-second of play. And what I think has happened, there are some shims up under here, or just washers, that are stacked in there. And the bottom one on this side appears to have extruded itself. So this seems to be just held in place with a little clip. I may be able to pop this out and just using a piece of sheet metal, re-shim it, clip it back together, take that slop up, and then not have the problem that I have. We're going to see. Okay, so we've gotten the clips off, and we're going to see what we can pull out of here. Interesting. Okay, there we go. There's actually some grease down in there from back in the day. But my problem is right there. This, whatever it is gone mushy. Compared to this one, which has not. It has not extruded itself out. So what I need to do is fabricate something like that, which might be entertaining. So we're going to go see what we've got that might work. Okay, so what I found was I had a regular old flat washer that was pretty good, and I hit it with my step bit to where it will clear everything. We can put that back together, and we're going to test it to see if it will actually allow me. What is that? And it's a displaced O-ring is what that is. That O-ring actually goes in right in the top of this, which is interesting. So, put him back on. It does appear that I will be able to get the snap ring on. So that's good. So what I'm going to do right now is get some grease, clean this up, re-grease everything internally, and then put it all back together. Alright, got her back together, got her cleaned up. Got my needle fitting. And there she is. And we have very little slop anymore. Okay, so that's good. I think I'm actually going to do that to the other side while I got it apart, since that hard washer should keep this a little happier, but then this rubber thing. So I'm going to redo all that process, put this whole thing back together, make another shim for that other side, and then we will start putting it back in the truck. So now it's all back together, and the reinstallation in the truck is going to look like the reverse. And once I get it in, we'll see what we can come up with, see how it looks. So it's back in. I have plugged it in, re-zeroed it a bunch of times so I don't screw that up. And I don't think it's 100% perfect. I believe there is a little bit of wear on those bushings, but I think it's going to be better. And since I really hadn't noticed the problem before, I think it's going to be fine. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to put the cowl back on, get that ready, and then get the wipers ready to change. So it'll be time to clean the windshield. Okay, so now that we've got everything back together on the truck, we're going to take a look at these PIAA wipers. Now, one thing you'll notice is I don't run the same size wiper on each side like it says. That truck is rated, if you look at all the books, at 22s on each side, which is this smaller one. But a 24 will fit on the driver's side with no issues and give you an extra, a whole bunch of square inches of wiped surface. It works just fine. Just make sure you get the same center section connection with a 24 and you're good to go. So we've got my 22 here, my 24 here. The only thing holding these on, if you look at these little clips, see how it just slides through around the metal? Is on this end. You can see there's a little bit of a bulge around it. And a little notch in there. And all you have to do to get this thing out, I believe, is just pull on it. Because when I first got these, if you remember from my video from a year ago, shout out to anybody who actually does, I'll link it up top. These were not set properly from the factory. This was not in this notch. It was actually out here a little ways. And so I happened to notice that, and I pushed them in where they were supposed to be. So that was just something that I noticed. But because I didn't feel like buying new arms, since the arms are perfectly fine, why do that? We have nice, ready to go, just inserts like they used to do 100 years ago when I was a kid, back before cars were invented. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hook this camera up on my mount, and then we're going to remove these. Okay, so as I thought, you just pull and shrink, out it comes. Show you that again, just grab on it. This one, of course, there it goes. Pull, out it comes. And now your arms are ready. And honestly, the installation is just exactly the same as what we just did. You just snake it through so that this metal piece is inside there where it goes through, just like that. And you weave it through all of your pins. You finally get it down to the end, and you clip it in. Make sure that goes around these last two, and you're done. Simple as that. I'm gonna go get some gloves since my hands are kind of greasy and nasty, and these are brand new. So I'm gonna go get some gloves, and then we're gonna put these on. Interesting. Not quite sure what those are for. They certainly weren't on the ones that came off. I think they're just in there to hold the, oh yeah, because these metal strips, I'll show you in a minute, those are not in there where they would stay. So those are just clips to keep the metal inserts where they belong until you can get them installed. Snake your way along. Now when you get down to the end, this is how it was when I got them last year. So you're going to want to push that all the way in until it clips. And you're done for, I think, less than half the price of a full arm. So unless you've got something broken, there's absolutely no reason to buy brand new arms for these things either. So not only will they last a year with just a bare amount of maintenance, they'll cost you half as much to rebuild. So now we're going to do the other one. And so I can show you, that's why those two little clips are on there. And done. Now just time to clean the windshield and remount them. Perfect. Well, there she is. Windshield's all clean. Newly installed wipers are back on. We don't have anywhere near the slop we did. And what the heck, I cleaned the headlights and the fog lights while I was at it. So, should be good for probably another 6 months before I have to clean those things and clean the windshield again. And then probably another 6 months after that. So, appreciate you watching. The tools and parts and stuff that I used in this video, if you're interested in them, I'll have them linked in my Amazon affiliate store, which I will show a link in the description to this video. I appreciate all of your likes, comments, watches, subscribes, everything's, and anything that you purchase from the Amazon affiliate page that I have does go to support this channel. So, hope you all have a good day. Talk to you all next time. Take care.